I'm Kat, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to my very messy living room. Today in this video, I want to talk about my favorite, wow, talking is really hard today. I want to talk about my favorite movies to watch around this time of year. Now, I'm a big horror movie fan in the first place. I will watch horror every day for the whole year. But there are some movies that I like to watch around this time of year that just kind of bring me more into the spooky mood, and I kind of wanted to share them with you and kind of talk about some of my favorite movies to watch around this time of year. So I have a couple not so scary movies, but then most of the movies I have, I guess, are in the thriller, slasher, horror range. But the first movie that we're going to talk about is The Little Vampire. Oh, you can see my ring light. This is A Little Vampire. So basically it follows a little boy who loves vampires and everybody thinks he's weird for it, and he ends up meeting another little boy who's a vampire, and they go on these adventures and all this really fun stuff. I love this movie around this time of year, one, because it's vampires, but also because this movie reminds me of when I was a kid and watching it with my family and my sister and just kind of having fun with it. It's such a comforting movie, and when I found it, I was so excited because this is a staple in my childhood and I had to own it, and it's such a cute movie to watch. The acting's not that great, but it is a really, really cute movie. So if there's like a movie that you want to watch like with your kids that isn't scary but like is kind of like in the Halloween movie range, this is a really, really great movie. There's like vampire cows, like genuinely there's like vampire cows. Those are vampire cows. There's a whole vampire family. There's vampire hunters. It's a good time. It's a really, really good time. And there's a really wholesome story. So definitely watch it. The second movie that I have to watch, especially when it hits September, and this is just a classic movie, especially if you're a millennial, is Halloween Town. And this is the double of Halloween Town and Halloween Town 2, Calabar's Revenge. I love this movie. I'll even watch it when like it's not Halloween time because I love this movie so much and it brings me so much comfort. So this movie, if you haven't watched it, follows a girl named Marnie who finds out that she's a witch, and there's this town called Halloween Town where all the Halloween creatures live around this time of year, and you know, a bunch of chaos ensues, and there's a guy who's trying to take over the human world. It's a good time. That was a really bad description, but it's a really good time, and definitely a Halloween staple. Like, this reminds me of watching the Disney Channel and waiting for like spooky season to come around, because the Disney Channel was the best around this time of year because this would come on and Twitches would come on. And so I made it a mission to find this movie because I wanted to own it. I need to go buy the other two, or really just Halloween Town High, because I don't watch the other one where the actress changed, for Marnie changed, because I just don't like it. But I do like this one and then the Halloween Town High. But this is one of my favorite movies to watch around this time of year because it just reminds me of being a kid sitting in front of the TV when spooky season was happening on Disney Channel. The third one is obviously Hocus Pocus. I own it, but I can't find it. I think I loaned it to someone. I think I let my boyfriend borrow it because I can't find it. But Hocus Pocus is a staple for everybody. If you've never watched Hocus Pocus, you should definitely watch it. I was obsessed with Hocus Pocus when I was a kid, and I still am obsessed with it. And I love watching it. I love the witches. I love the characters. I love the story. It's super cute and fun, and if you haven't watched it, you should. I haven't watched the second one yet, but I've heard it's pretty decent, so I'll probably take the time to do that. But it's definitely a movie that, it's a comfort movie for me that I watch whenever I feel sad or lonely or anxious. I'll just put that movie on because it's such a comfort movie for me. It's not just a movie I watch around this time of year, I watch it all of the time. And but it is definitely a movie that will get you into the spirit. Okay, now that we've talked about the like sweeter, gentler, not scary movies that I like to watch around this time of year, let's get into the scary ones. So the next one I want to talk about is Hellfest. So this movie is a very, very typical, it's not going to blow your mind or blow you out of the water. It's a very typical slasher thriller movie. It follows a character who joins her friends to a festival called Hellfest, and it gets increasingly scarier with different exhibits, and there's this guy who goes to these festivals to kill people, and of course they have to survive. It's not the best movie, but if you like your just stereotypical thriller slasher scary movies, this is definitely a great one. I love the idea of going to a haunted house and not knowing if the decorations are real or fake. I know there are stories like that, and there are actual real occurrences where people have found dead bodies in haunted houses, and not that unsettled feeling of not knowing like if there's a killer around or if they're real. I also like this murderer, which sounds crazy, but I do like it because he doesn't seem to have a motive. It just seems like he shows up at this Halloween festival and just kills people without any rhyme or reason. And to me that's scary because really that's how any murderer is for the most part. And it really shows that you don't know who it could be. Anybody around you could be a killer. And I find that interesting. You never see his face. You do see the back of his head and his boots, but you never see his face. And I think that creates an even scarier experience because you don't know who it is. The next movie that has my heart and soul is Dawn of the Dead. So this is the newer one. This is the one, I think it was 2010? I can't remember when this came out. 2008? I can't remember. But this is, so you have the original one, which is the older version, and then you have the Rob Zombie version. No, this isn't Rob Zombie. Rob Zombie's Halloween. This is the... whatever. This is, sorry. But I digress. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. This is actually a comfort movie, which sounds really messed up, but it's true. This is a movie I watch when I feel sad or depressed. Because, first of all, I love zombie movies. Zombie movies are one of my favorite genres. But I love this movie because, in my opinion, this movie kind of depicts what people would really be like in real life if there was a zombie outbreak. I love the zombies because they run and they're scary. I like when they're hordes because it's more terrifying. I love the emotional aspect. I love the human aspect, that people can be assholes and people do stupid shit when they're scared, and, you know, having to deal with the survival aspect. This was definitely a movie that my aunt showed me and my sister when we were too little. And I think that's partly why it's a comfort movie because my sister and I would watch it all the time. It's a really good zombie movie, in my opinion. To some people, it's probably not a very good zombie movie, but to me it is. And it's a movie that I love to watch around this time of year. For some reason, once it hits spooky season, I'm like, I gotta watch Dawn of the Dead. Even more often than normal, because I watch this a lot. Like, so much. Because it's one of my favorite movies. It's a great, scary zombie movie. You feel for these characters. You want them to survive. And plot twist and spoiler, possibly, sorry. I like that the ending isn't happy. I like when endings aren't happy because it seems more realistic. So, this is a good one. This one isn't really scary or horror, but it does have some dark undertones, and that's Interview with the Vampire. This is one of the best vampire movies and vampire content, in my opinion. My favorite vampires are the Buffy the Vampire Slayer vampires and the Anne Rice vampires, because they're actually good vampires. I love Brad Pitt in this movie. I love all of these characters in this movie because I think that it's really, just really I keep losing my train of thought. But it's really good. It's a very good vampire movie. I love Lestat, and I love Louis, and I love Kirsten Dunst. She's so good in this movie. It really is. It's a really, I love Tom Cruise as Lestat. This is one of the best movies I think Tom Cruise has been in my opinion, because him as Lestat is really brilliant. There are moments where he plays Lestat as really creepy and gross, and then times where he makes him really suave and interesting. It is sad, it pulls your heartstrings, it's a really great movie. And if you want to watch a good vampire movie that's more on the adult side, I guess, this is really, really awesome. This was definitely something I wanted to own in my collection. And also this kind of shows that it is an older movie because it has the cardboard, nothing on the front of the disc, and then you use this plastic piece to close it. So it's an older movie, 1997. So this came out, this is 3 years younger than me, because I was born in 94. But it's definitely a classic. And if you've never read the Anne Rice books, you should definitely take some time to read the Anne Rice books because she's brilliant and she's very good. And this is a very good book as well. So if you've never read it, you should read it, and then you should watch it. The last two movies are my favorite movies of all time. They're in my top favorite horror movies of all time. And one of the second to last is 13 Ghosts. This is one of my favorite movies ever. One of my favorite horror movies, my favorite ghost movie. It's a comfort video. I love this movie so much. My sister and I watched it recently because it's one of her favorite movies as well. Because we used to watch this so much. We had this on VHS and we ran this tape into the ground because we loved it so much. I love the movie because I like that they don't use a lot of CGI. They do use some CGI, but not a lot of it. The ghosts are actual actors and prosthetics. I love the ghosts. I like how creepy the story is, how they create this black zodiac, and it's like this whole story that you believe. I love Matthew Lillard. Matthew Lillard has my heart and soul. And I love the characters. I love the stories. Some of the ghosts are so scary. My favorite ghosts are the Jackal and the Juggernaut because they're so scary. I also love the Angry Princess because her story is so sad. But it is such a good ghost movie. You feel for this family. Basically, it follows this family who inherits a house from their from the father's uncle. It seems like it's too good to be true because it is. Matthew Lillard's character helped this uncle hunt down disgruntled ghosts so that he could do this spell to know the future. It sounds so crazy and stupid when I describe it, but it's such a good movie. So if you have the chance to watch a good ghost movie, you should watch it. There are times where it is cheesy. There are times where it does show when it came out, but it's definitely worth a watch. It's a good time. I watch this all the time, and I really love watching it around this time of year. And the last one for anybody who knows me and has heard me talk about this. This is my favorite horror movie ever. It's my favorite horror movie, and I love it so much, and I watch it all the time. Not Scream. This is my 4-pack. I can't find my Blu-ray version of Scream. But Scream is my favorite horror movie of all time. Whenever someone asks, what's your favorite scary movie? It's Scream. I love Ghostface. I love Sidney Prescott. I think Neve Campbell is amazing. I love the characters. Ski Ulrich is amazing, and just like Matthew Lillard in 13 Ghosts, I love it. I think the reason that I fell in love with 13 Ghosts is because I fell in love with Scream because of Matthew Lillard and the characters. I think my two favorite genres of horror are zombie and just your stereotypical slasher thriller movies. I love them because they're so simple. The slasher movies are simple. It's just a person with a knife or a machete or an axe or something like that. Something where a real person could actually be doing those things. To me, that's a lot scarier than a ghost or a demon because humans are terrifying. Humans are scary to me. I love this movie. I watch this all the time. And usually once I start watching the first one, I have to watch all of them, even the newer one. Even though I don't like the new one, I really don't. But I have to watch all 5, just like a marathon of them. But I love Scream, and I have such fond memories with Scream. I mentioned this in another video, but basically I'll try to go through this quickly. There was one time where my sister and another family member and I were at home and we were watching the movie, and the part where Drew Barrymore in the very beginning of the movie, when her parents find her hanging from the tree and her insides are out of her body, right when it showed Drew Barrymore's body, up close, all dead in the tree. Our power went out, and we heard our sliding door open and someone stick their head in and then quickly pull their head out and run away, and then the power came back on. And now, of course, I don't know if it was just like someone we knew trying to scare us. I don't know if it was someone who thought their apartment was this apartment, the apartment we were in, or if like some crazy shit was about to go down and then they realized there were people in the apartment. Either way, it's one of my fondest memories, and I think it's so funny. My sister and I love this movie. We watched it a lot when we were kids, and I think part of the reason I love this movie is because of that memory. But if you ever want to watch a good slasher movie that is a great staple, Scream is definitely one of those movies. This has a cult following. People love it so much, and I think part of the reason why the newer one was successful wasn't because it was good, but was because it's Scream. So you should definitely watch it if you can. I think most of them are on Netflix now, so if you want to have a little marathon of Scream, you should definitely go watch it. This is such a highly recommended 10 out of 10. Do recommend. Watch it. All right, there you go. So those are some of my favorite movies that I love to watch around this time of year. Now granted, like I said, I do watch a lot of these just regularly, just in my regular life. And honestly, I don't need October to watch scary movies. It's gonna sound super odd, but I prefer watching horror movies around December, around Christmas time. I love, my third favorite category of horror are Christmas horror movies. Because you take Christmas, which is it's the most wonderful time of the year, it's so happy and sparkly, and then you add terror and horror, and I love it. I like Black Christmas. It's called Christmas Horror Story. I love P2. I love just a lot of scary Christmas movies. They are my favorite kind. I do like watching Christmas movies. Like, I'm a sucker for Hallmark movies. I love Christmas horror. It's one of my favorites. But anyway, I digress. These are my favorite movies that really get me into the spooky season mood. And the movies that I watch constantly, all the time. These are the movies I don't get sick of. I can watch them over and over and over again without getting sick of them. And they are definitely my favorites. They have a place in my heart. But yeah, that's about it for this video. I have to go get ready because my boyfriend and I are going to go to the Dollar Tree together, which I'm excited about. So yeah, but thank you for joining me in this video. If you liked it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe if you want to subscribe and hit the bell notification so you can be notified whenever I post a video. If you would like to tell me your favorite horror movies or movies, Halloween related movies, or just movies that you like to watch around this time of year, and tell me if any of these are your favorite movies or how you feel respectfully about these movies. And yeah, I love this time of year. This is my favorite time of year, from October, November to December. This is my favorite time of the year. It's where the best food, scents, and clothes come out, and I'm so excited. I don't like the cold though, but it's whatever. The best part about living in Utah is we do experience all 4 seasons, and I love them. So yeah, but I'm gonna go, and I hope that you have a wonderful day and a beautiful night. Please be safe. Have a wonderful spooky season. And this is Kat. Bye.